Hello and welcome to the March 2022 update from Clydebridge Station. If you watched video 87, which was me at Model Rail Scotland 2022 in Glasgow at the end of February, you'll have seen some of this already. Whilst I was there filming and watching the layouts, I was also spending some of my hard-earned cash on stuff for the layout. Not everything that you see here was bought at Model Rail Scotland, and not everything that you see here is going to be used in this March update, which will see us carrying on with the retail park and the retaining wall around the south side of the layout, where the station area is, round by the co-op to the east side of the layout, where the existing bus station is. Some of this stuff will be getting used, some of it is going to be kept for a later date. But let's go through first of all, before we head to the layout, what we've got. And this is actually a Gauge Master back scene. I was also hoping to get a second one at the show with an industrial background. I haven't got that, but I've went for this one here because this will just be ideal for the retail park area of the layout. From my good friends Justin and Dylan at Scale Model Scenery and everybody else down in Cornwall. These are going to be used, it's corrugated industrial unit panelling light grey, and these are going to be used to build the two retail units. I've got two of them just in case, because I'm always frightened to make a cock-up. SMS 1mm grey board, 20 sheets, they come in packs of 10. I've got 20 of them because the retaining wall will need doubling, and I'm going to need some spare ones for a job later on that may get done in this video but may get kept for another video. Paint brushes. These are from SMS as well, daffodils. Some of these are actually going to go on my mum's ashes on the layout. Now this wasn't purchased at Model Rail Scotland, but I got it on eBay, and you can see that it's Eagle One Model Railway Signs. He's got his own shop on eBay, and there's his email address as well. And you could, if you emailed, he'd probably send you the link to it. It's going to tie in with something else that I'll show you about in a few minutes. But these are actually new station signs, because if you remember, I've got these Gauge Master lamps on the platforms, but they're quite tall and they keep falling over. And Scale Model Scenery will be delighted to hear that at some point in the future I'm going to be ordering some new platform surfacing from them, because they fell over a couple of times and it's caused it's ripped some of the surface off. The Gauge Master ones are far too tall. So I've got new signs, and these will be stuck onto new grey board, or spare grey board, and I've got a little plan for them, but that's for the future. A cutting mat, because I haven't got a cutting mat. It's an A5 one, but it'll do the job. Dylan Sanderson built one of these last year in a live build. I've only bought the one now, as you can see it's quite a complex kit. Only bought the one now, I'll probably need 3 or 4 of them. And that won't be appearing in this update getting built, neither will this. That's for a later date. The anti-slip walkway pedestrian level crossing, more Armco safety barriers. Again, they'll be for a future project, but you've already seen them as these. Got 4 more. 2 of them are going to get painted red. I'm going to try and put Royal Mail logos on them. Palisade security fencing. Some of that's going to replace the chain link fencing on the depot area. And David Watson told me the colour to paint it in. David, you'll need to tell me again. These are purchased from another stall. Trying to remember who it was, but anyway, they're lamp posts. They're slightly out with the era that I'm modelling, but they will do the job. And I haven't had a proper look at them yet, but it looks like I've just got to drill holes and then glue them into the ground. Some of them will appear in the street scene, some of them will actually appear on the retail park area. Laser cut kit glue, got that from the Gauge Master stall. Now lastly this ties in with the railway signs that I showed you. This is from P&D Marsh, and I actually saw similar ones already on a layout called Shrewford, which is a layout based upon Shrewsbury. And I've done an internet search and come across these from P&D Marsh in Wisbech near Peterborough. And you can see there what they are. They're the BR station lights. They're the T-shaped ones. Now they're not as realistic as, say, that some things, but they're actually quite ideal for what I'm wanting. They'll be 4 to a platform rather than 5 gauge master ones. They're a bit smaller, but I have the facility to bore a little hole and put them into the ground onto the platform, so they shouldn't fall over, which will be why I may well need more platform surfacing in the future. That's the reference number for them. I've got 3 of them there, and that's actually their website as well. And a steel rule. Believe it or not, couldn't even find a steel rule in my shed. So that's the items that I bought at Model Rail Scotland. You won't see all of these getting used in this video. What you will see getting used in this video is some of this, definitely that, some of these, and also this. And there's a couple of things that you haven't seen here that I've already got: brick walling, and there's also the retaining wall as well. And one of these is going to get used towards the end. One other thing that I've done is that David Watson from Dean Park, he was building a retaining wall as well, using scale model scenery arches. He actually, at the back of his retaining wall, has put on a metal L shape. You can get these out of, like, say, B&Q and Homebase or home interior shops that sell mouldings. It gave me an idea for the retaining wall as we're going round the bend and towards the tunnel, that I could actually use a plastic one and have it curving round instead. So that's something that I'll be doing on the layout as well. I'll have to have one at the top, one at the bottom, and I could actually stick the retaining wall, basically the grey board, to that first of all. So it was a very good idea that I got there from David Watson. That's a purchase that I'll make separately during this video. So that's what I've purchased. Quite a lot there that should keep me going for the next little while anyway. So what we're going to do now is bundle all of this stuff up, get it into a carrier bag, and we're going to head down to the shed, where we're going to take a look at where we are right now. And our first project will be to get this Gauge Master back scene up. And one last little thing there, I mentioned to David Watson and his layout, Dean Park Station. Also check out another layout, the New Junction, which is run by Richard Watson, no relation to David. I've got a selfie with Richard at Model Rail Scotland, and thank you very much indeed for that, Richard. I also got selfies with Dylan Sanderson and Justin Noble from Scale Model Scenery at their stall, and the links to the stuff that I've used from Scale Model Scenery in this video are in the description below. Okay folks, it's the day after Model Rail Scotland. I'm down in the shed. I've got the shed door open now actually, because quite a nice spring day out there, and I've already done some work on a fence in the garden this morning. So we're getting underway now down here, and today what my plan is for this first bit, I'm going to get the back scene in here, and we'll try and work out and get it into here as well. So this is going to come off, and this chain link fencing is going to have to come off too. And I've got my B&Q angle strip. I had to go into B&Q this morning for something else, so it gave me the chance to get a bit of angle strip, plastic angle strip, and that'll do for the retaining wall at a later point. Get the back scene in first, and then what my course of action will be is to start building the B&Q here. We'll get that into place. I kept these bollards, as I say, from the previous video. They'll do for the retail park. I've got some more which I'll have to paint up as well at some point. So all in all, quite a bit to do, but we'll get underway with it and we'll see how far we can get. Well, that's me got the first bit of the back scene in place, and I've had to make a couple of more alterations, as you'll see, and I'll explain to you how I'm going to solve all of this. But you'll notice obviously there's a different texture between the one that came in Railway Modeller magazine and the one that I got from Gauge Master at Model Rail Scotland. I don't know how well this can be picked up on the camera, but a criticism that was made of the Gauge Master ones is that they are a bit of a blurred background photo. Don't know how well that's picked up on camera. It's not a problem for me, like. Other thing I've had to do, I've had to make this into steps down because this was sitting higher than that and I couldn't get the right angle to curve it. So I've left it like that, and I'm going to solve that by later on putting a small wall in there. It'll go along to there. So B&Q will come up to about here. So we'll get onto that getting built in a little while. I'm just hoping that sticks all right. It seems to be at the moment. This is all coming away, of course, and we're going to get the back scene built into here. Excuse me, built into here as well. What I've done was I had to take it outside though, purely to allow me to get some space. So I used 2.5 bits of grey board from Scale Model Surrey, Yoo-Hoo glue, stuck it on one bit at a time. So put Yoo-Hoo glue on one bit, then let it cure, put it on, let it dry, done the next bit. That's how I'll be doing it over here. I've made it shorter so it matches in with that. The sky bit at the top is actually going to be used later on over here, above the shopping centre, which is going to be extended along here a little bit. So that's the first bit of the back scene in. These steps are going to get painted now, and then I'm going to get this bit here prepped for the next bit of the back scene. This is all coming away, so there's going to be some big changes here. And there'll be a brand new surface coming in here eventually as well, which is why I bought so much grey board yesterday at Model Rail Scotland. I've used, as I say, 2.5 bits of there already, and I found a spare bit from some time ago, so that's quite handy. I'll get the Scotmid moved out the road now, but it will be getting returned. I'll probably print off new signage for it there and there eventually, and we'll get it stuck on. And I'll get new signage printed off for the bus station and the shopping centre once that's completed. But that's the next bit I've got to do, is get the back scene into here, which I think how I'll have to do it this time is put some of it there, along here, below the level of this, and then make a notch for the last bit here. So it's going to be a bit more challenging, but let's get on with the next bit right now. Apologies for the poor lighting. I'm just going to turn the light on a minute. I've still got the door open, but we'll get some light in here just to let you see it. So that's that up there. It's not perfect though. I mean, if you look at this for instance here. Now this bit here I've had to stick to the grey board as best I can, because this is where I'm going to run the pathway along here. But I'll also have to try and somehow get it to curve round here too. Now the way I'm going to try it this time is getting another sheet, when I put this grey board on, getting another bit of grey board that's make it a bit narrower to get the angle in. So that's how I think I'm going to do that there. The steps are painted black, so the next job I'll have is get here and we'll get the B&Q built. Hopefully that'll all stay as good as it is. Get the B&Q store built. That'll be done by using some walling and some brick, a small run of brick walling, and I've got some of the shuttering. We'll make that up and I'll show you how that goes. Get that into position. I've got a new sign for the B&Q, by the way. And then we'll get a wall here, a couple of bollards, and then we'll get a bit of wall and Halfords built in the corner there. And then we'll work our way around so that at least the back scene's in position now. The retaining wall is going to be the last bit that will go on at that corner, and I've also got a lamp post that I'll stick in shortly, so I'll get one stuck in there. 2, 3, 4 I think will be enough there. So that's going to be the next task. So progress is pretty good at the moment, so we'll get on with that. So it's going to be the next day before I carry on any more work, but by the miracle of YouTube, you'll just wait a few seconds to see what progress I've made. It's another day and it's a change in the weather. It's bitterly cold today. So what I've done here, this is me starting on making the B&Q, and I've cut this here into 2 bits, because what will happen is, that's how it will actually sit there. So we'll have a brick wall along there, and then the corrugated sheets that I got at Scale Model Scenery, here we have one of them here, they'll actually go on this bit here. There'll be bits to go at the side as well. Now that's actually still too tall, so not a great problem. Excuse me, not a great problem at all, because we'll obviously get that cut down to the right size, and then we'll do the bit that Dylan Sanderson doesn't like, and that's wrapping. I'll let him explain that to you one day from Scale Model Scenery. But in all seriousness, yeah, we'll get the brick walling on here first, and I'll get this wrapped up. Now on the inside I'll have to put supports shaped like a triangle, so I can take the side walls for it. I've also got my trusty B&Q logo made, and it's in my shopping bag somewhere, and it'll sit along the front there, so you could actually quite clearly see that that's a lot shorter than the wall, which is how it should be. So that's what I'll be doing. I've got some brick walling somewhere. I'm just trying to look for it. I'm modelling the idea of this on a Branch of Focus DIY, having seen that at some point. One other thing I've noticed as well is that now that I've got steps going up at the end of the B&Q store, what I'm going to have to do is have the retaining wall going up slightly as well. Right, I'm going to crack on and try and build this B&Q, and we'll get a finished article hopefully very soon. Well, so far that's 2 of the 3 bits done for the walls, and you can just see that that's the panel going where the garden centre is, and this will then go along. Now, in order to get this to fit properly, of course, I've got the roof section to do, and part of the roof section will have to have a notch in it to go around the pillar. It might not be apparent at the moment, but there is a little bit of a rise there too, so there's nothing I can do about that. What's done is done. I'm going to get the other bit made, and then I'm also going to stick the B&Q sign on here, and then try and get the 3 bits joined together somehow, so I can put it in position, and then look at getting the roof done. Now the roof section should be done in a similar way to how I built the TV rental shop, so I've got a rough idea of what I've got to do there. Right, there we go. I've got B&Q in place now with its sign on, but still needing a roof. I joined it together, you could see there with that inside. I had to make an alteration to this one because it was originally sticking out much too far. It's sticking out a bit, still a little bit further than what I'd originally intended, but it's actually not as bad as what it was previously. So that's actually looking really good now, and the plan is that I'm going to get the roof made, get some walling along here, which will have to go up and along to there, and then we'll have the walkway here. Once I get the roof done on this though, what I'll then do, all being well, is I'll actually get the first of the street lights put in, which will probably sit about here. There are going to be non-operational street lights, by the way, folks. So there's no way I can have the electrics coming on here. It's just impossible for me. But that's where we're up to. So I'll get the roof done. It'll be made from the same components as you see here. There she is in position then. It's not perfect, I know. See, this problem here, I only identified that after I'd got everything else stuck on. There's nothing I can do about that now. I'm too late. But that's looking like a proper B&Q that we have had in, say, 1989, 1990. So, lamp post will go in there next, and then we'll have to make the little wall, but I'll have to go up a bit to about here, and we'll have the walkway, and then we'll have the Halfords along there. So that's the B&Q built. Now they do say you can do it when you B&Q it. I hope that's certainly the case here. Two quick shout outs to layouts I don't normally mention. We'll give a shout out to Shrewford. That's based upon Shrewsbury. He gave me an idea for the station lights, which we'll talk about in another video. And also Warpampton, which is like Shrewford, set in the BR sectorisation era. His one is set in a sort of Network Southeast era, and he's an N-gauge layout, Warpampton. So check those two out there. Right, next thing is to get on and put some wall in here, and then we'll reinstate these two little bollards somewhere along there, and then we can make a start on getting the next bit of the retaining wall put in as well. Well, that's the first of those Bachmann lamp posts in place, just stuck on with Yoo-hoo glue. I've got 3 more to put in this area. This is now beginning to look a bit more like a retail park, isn't it? I'll get a couple of bollards in there. I'm going to measure out how far I want the Halfords to come. Excuse me. And then I suspect it'll be a short wall. And then what we'll do is we'll get the Halfords built, and in there it'll be slightly narrower. Probably Halfords will come to here, I think, and then the wall will come along a wee bit here, and a couple of bollards there. That'll then allow me to clear away some of this ballast here to allow the creation of the new retaining wall to go round. I'm not going to put any more lampposts in yet until I've actually got the retaining wall up, by the way. I'll get all of this put together because I've got 2 bollards here, shopping trolley bay, and 2 shoppers to get stuck on as well. The Scott Mid store I'll temporarily have to move out so I can put something else, put something in here to like a fence or that to separate it off from the goods in area for the 2 shops. And this will be the walkway round down to the shopping centre and bus station, which this is going to sit at a slightly higher level. This seems to be secure at the moment, but I'm going to get another support put in here to try and provide some sort of stability to it. It's okay at the moment, but I'm not just chancing my arm just on that alone. I'd rather get other things, get it all made secure, and then this is going to obviously curve round onto here. But certainly this bit here is now complete, this bit here, and it is, as I say, looking more like a retail park now. So we'll crack on and I'll start building the Halfords in the same way that I built the B&Q. There we go, so this is the Halfords unit complete. I'm just going to show you the construction of it underneath. You only get to see this once, but this is how I had to build it, so everything supports together. And you see the wraps go round there. And I'm just going to be very careful now, folks. So that's that. Halford's sitting up there. Bit of wall in there, not much. Couple of bollards, or the alternative is just to leave it as it is there and put in the 2 bollards, or a few bollards, and then what we'll do is start the work on this retaining wall round here. I've also got the trolley bay to put back in, which will sit about there. The shoppers somewhere like that. Trolleys which will go in the bay, not on the track as might be tempted. There we go, I think. There we go. Oh, that's that there, and I've also then got the lamp post to put in as well, so I'll maybe just leave that as it is. That looks quite good as it is. And then get and get on with that. So that's the construction work for this bit of the retail park in terms of buildings done. And obviously we'll get started with the retaining wall, which is going to come up just a little bit, or maybe it'll just stay at the same height. Actually, I'm looking at that again. I might get away with it the same height as the other bits. And it's got to then curve round, so that's what I've been scraping away some of this ballast here for, because it'll all come round there and onto here. So we'll get underway with that next bit, and I'll get some bollards painted. I've got the bollards drying. What I'm going to do is I'm going to repaint the 4 bollards the same colour. You know, I had 2 that were blue already. They were a lighter blue, so I'm going to paint them a darker blue. This is the next bit of the retaining wall, although you can see there that is not curving properly. So I'm going to have to watch with that. And I've got this bit made here, but I may actually cut out a second bit and have a bit of a smoother curve, smoother transition. If I can get it right, that'll then get painted black, and then that'll be most of the remaining bit of the retail park built. But this is the bit that's obviously going to be the concern, how I'm going to get that to curve round. So this could be a bit of a challenge for me. One thing that's not a challenge is giving shout outs, and we'll give a shout out to Town Hall Junction, my mate Andrew Wedge. Also give a shout out to Dudley Central, and a new one I'm going to give you a shout out to. I've never done him before, and that's Trent Valley Model Railway. He just recently started subscribing to me on YouTube, so please do subscribe on here to YouTube to me, and I'm also on the Facebook as well, Clydebridge Station as well. Notice also this is bubbling away a little bit there. Nothing I can do about it now. What's done is done. Anyway, we'll carry on and we'll try and get all of this sorted out here. Apologies for the music you can hear in the background. It's some builders doing work on another house. I've got Heart 70s on. The tune, by the way, is, I don't know if you can hear it, but the tune is The Buggles' Video Killed the Radio Star, which actually came out the year I was born, 1979. No, I'm not a Buggles fan, but give me a bit of Clubland any day, thank you very much. Now, anyway, I digress, but you can see the problem I've now got. What I've managed to do is I've put some plastic at the back there. You could just catch a glimpse of it there, and I've had to put something in here which I'll paint at a later date to try and hold it on there, and I'll maybe use later on, get a grit bin and put that on there. Just try and see if I could get everything held together there. It's quite an awkward construction, so I'm managing to smooth this off just a little bit. As you can see, it is quite wobbly there, but that said, that won't be moving once it's on. I won't be moving it again. Off camera, I ran the push-pull train with a bit of difficulty because the tracks needn't cleaned, but I ran the push-pull train to check for clearances here, and it is all right, so I'm quite happy with that. And what I'll do is I'll get some ground cover put in there and there. And there's also the ScotRail Welcome to Clydebridge sign. That'll be going there. Again, it's well away from the track and well away from the Mark III stock. Bollards are still drying because I've painted the bottom half of them. 1, 2, 3, I think will go there. And we'll put one here. Fence here. This is why I've only painted this to here, because the shopping centre and bus station will come out here, and then we'll have some ground cover and waste material there, and there'll be the galvanised fence going along there. One other thing just to mention to you as well is that I had to make an overlap here, otherwise it was going to be coming out too far, so there's nothing I could do about it. If I'd moved it to join it to there, it was going to have an angle there. Don't know why, but look, it's the best I can really do in the circumstances. So, see, I've left that unpainted, but I'll get that trolley bay moved back into there. Like, there we go, that's it, more like that. That couple's glued down now. So, we'll get 2 lamp posts there and one there, and the fence in there. And progress is quite good. Speaking of which, I'm going to take a breather from this for a day to get some painting and gardening done. but you won't have to wait that long to see what I've done next in this March update. You'll just have to wait a few seconds. Well, I've got two more lamp posts in place, and I've got the bollards in place. One's a little bit squint, but you would expect that in 1990. So I've got another sheet of grey board to go around there. I've got that cut, and I'll put that up in a wee while. In the middle though of getting started on this LX055 fencing, this is 2mm palisade security fencing. I'm mainly going to be needing it for around here. And that's going to be a separate job where I'll get the gates and I'll replace this torture yourself kit. But in all seriousness, this gate here is actually going to be used on here. That's a Will's gate, but I'll use it on here, you see, at a much later date. So as regards that, will go in the bucket. Anyway, but it'll also do well, this fencing, for probably here. Now I've cut 2 bits off. I'm not going to need all the fencing anyway. I've cut 2 bits off, but I think I'll only need, there we go, I'll only need about 1.5 bits probably, so that's what we'll do. Can't even pick the bloody stuff up, you believe. Fucking Ada. Sorry for the language. It's a good job this video is not made for kids. Well, if I have it one wide, then the Scott mid will sit there, and then we'll have the other bit of fencing around about there. In fact, that looks pretty good to sit there, so I think we're good to go on that. So that's actually quite an unexpected bonus that I've got that bit ready, so that'll do well for there. And then we'll have the shopping centre here. You'll notice I've got the last bit in now. I haven't painted any of this because the shopping centre and bus station will come along to here, and then we'll have scattered material in there, and the wall, then the retaining wall will go right round. So Dylan Sanderson built this on the Scale Model Scenery YouTube channel. I'll put the link up to it so you can actually look at it yourself. One thing I will point out, I'm going to be spraying this grey with Halford's primer after assembling. I would recommend, as it says in the instructions there, the painting is best painted after assembly prior to installation. And it says allowed to dry thoroughly before installation. So this will get spray painted, as will the other bit. And then I'll leave that, and I'll probably leave it overnight because the time's wearing on today. I've got one lamp post left now. I'll install that once I've got the retaining wall installed, and then it'll be probably next to the fence. So I'll crack on with this. Well, there we have it so far. We're still not finished yet. I've got more retaining wall on order from Scale Model Scenery, which I'll do along here and hopefully in here too. I've got the push-pull train there, and you can see, I'll show you, there's adequate clearance there, and if you have a look there, I know it's not the right height. I'll probably have to actually rip those posts off and put new posts on one day. Welcome to Clydebridge there. That's one of those Eagle One Models signs that I've got. That's my bit fence in there. Shopping centre will have to come along here. Waste ground here. Another bollard here. Quite a wide area. And I'll put another figure in there. And then what we'll have is this bit here will then actually be complete. It'll be a case of getting the retaining wall done in the shopping centre and here done. So the progress is actually quite good at the moment. One thing I will point out to you is that whenever you do these sorts of layout changes, always make sure you have enough clearance for your rolling stock, which is what I've done here, and you can see there's more than enough clearance there. So I'm going to have to put the push-pull train back in once I've took a photo here for Instagram and the Railway Modelers Club, and then we'll crack on with a bit more. So that'll be the next plan. There'll be a pedestrian there, another bollard, and then I'll get on with building the shopping centre. It'll be and bus station here. It'll be built to the same style as this. It'll just be slightly higher in terms of the base, but I'm going to try and keep the top to the same height and probably have it come along to about there. Okay, so where we're up to now is I'm actually starting the construction work on the other side of the shopping centre and the bus station. Try and show you what I mean. This bit here is going to be sticking on the back. I'm going to cut another piece, it'll be the same dimensions as this. You'll notice I've got windows in again, and that's simply so we'll have two shop names, stairs sign up and down, lift up and down signs. There won't actually be lifts, they'll sit in there, something like that, and it'll just be the grey board in the background like what we've got on the other side of the shopping centre already, and we'll get that done. The bus station bit will go here, so actually just using the bit that's going to go in the back, it'll bring it to there, so it's quite a sizable bus station, and I'll make a fire exit in there with a path going round. What I'll do is I'll make a wee notch and then put a door behind it on the brickwork, but I won't do that until that's actually dry there and I've got it all wrapped. And I'll get that bit wrapped as well. I'll make some new signs up for the bus station and the shopping centre area. So we'll get some more shop names. We've got there already: Woolworths, Currys, Wimpy, Littlewoods, Jean Division and Boots. So we'll put Tandy, WH Smith, they'll be the other two shop names that we'll put in there. So that's what we've got there. And I'll get that all built. It'll be to the same style as the other side of the postings, but also because there won't be many people on that other side. I think I've got one spare person left, so I'll stick them somewhere, and then it'll be a case of just trying to get that together, get that done. And I've got to make up my path for going round here, and I'll put some waste foliage in as well. So that's me getting on with the brickwork now. It's going to be fairly tight, but I think I'll have enough to actually do the rest of this. But as I say, it's going to be fairly tight. One other thing, I've maybe changed a plan, because I was thinking, why would I put lifts on the side where the bus station actually is? That would be where the bus stances are. So what I'm going to do is the lifts would probably be around about here, and the stairs will be here and here. But I'm going to make this bit, make a sign instead saying Knightsbridge Shopping Arcade. The actual posting shopping centre in Kirkcaldy did have a Knightsbridge Shopping Arcade. They were small units, probably some of them are probably about double the size of this shed. Now this shed's 8x6, so some of them are about that, were double that size, and some of them were probably 8 foot wide and 12 foot in depth. And the shopping centre, the shopping arcade at Knightsbridge was in a C shape, a crescent shape, so that you were able to walk round it. So I'm thinking that this might actually be the better thing for that, to try and keep it as real as the one that was in Kirkcaldy originally. Anyway, progress. I've got the two back bits stuck on. I've got my grey bits there. What I'll need to do is get my runners along there. These are all supports are going to be 1.5 centimetres wide. There's two of the long runners. I've got to make quite a few of these, and these will come from the scrap grey board I've got. For those of you wondering what I'm going to do with some of the other scrap grey board that I've done from making the retaining wall, it's not going to waste, because when I come to do the depot and the concrete along here, that's where that scrap grey board is going to come into use. And some of the other sheets of grey board will be useful for along here at the back of these buildings when I do the back scenes for there at some point in the future. And I'll also have to put some grey board along there to put a bit of back scene on as well. So the grey board is not going to go to waste at all. That's what I will say right now. I've got the notch for the fire exit cut out, and I've actually got the bit painted red that's going to stick on the back of there, and I'll make a fire exit keep clear sign there. So anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to nip up to the house now, and I'm going to do my signs on the computer, get them printed off, make sure they're the right size, and they'll get brought down here, and we'll then actually be able to do as I've done before with the other shop part of the shopping centre. I'll place that on there, and then I'll mark with X's where the signs will go, and then having done that, I'll then be able to put the signs on, and then I can actually put the windows in, and it's just as I've done before. Some of this plastic sheeting, I'll cut that, put it over the back, and that's my windows done. Construction is proceeding quite well at the moment on the extension of the shopping centre and the bus station area. Got a couple of signs up. They're actually a bit oversized, but there's nothing I can do about it now. The red marks is where the signs are going to go. And to show you just how neatly and how lucky I was with that red brick, the bonded brown brick, I actually got it all done with only one little bit to spare. So it is actually all ready for getting the glazing in and getting the sign work put on the outside for the bus station area. And I'm also looking very carefully at the possibility of excuse me, of putting a second fire exit in just here. I'll see how I go with that. I might not actually. I may just leave it as it is. I've got the other fire exit already done for the bus station area, but of course there could be fire exits at the other side anyway of the shopping centre. So it's just following the same style of construction as I've done with this side of the shopping centre. So I'm going to carry on and get the other signs put in place and get the roof bit on, and then we'll get the first bit of the walling glazed and then put into position. That's the first bit just been glued into position. I'm hoping that it stays like that. And as you'll know, this little gap here will be hidden by the retaining wall, which will probably just come over to there. I'll see how I go. As I say, I'm not. It's tempting to just touch it and that, but don't. But you can actually see there some of the signs are slightly out of line with the windows. That would be expected. The windows are a bit smaller too. It's another bit of the shopping centre. But we've got Tandy, WH Smith, stairs to car park on first floor, bus station and ground floor. It has stairs too on there, and Knightsbridge shopping arcade, which would be in here. This other bit will be going on shortly. There's the fire exit door. That'll go on shortly there. I'll put the Strathclyde Transport sign on and the Clydebridge bus station sign on. And once that's done, all that's got to be done here then is some landscaping works in here and the retaining wall finished, and then that is the retail park and this whole corner here completed. I'm not going to put the ballast in here straight away because Justin Noble is going to love what I'm about to say next. I'm going to be getting some scale model scenery cable trunking, and that'll be going in here in place of this wool stuff, which you can see just doesn't look right at all. The SMS stuff is a bit more flexible, so that'll be going along here instead. When I get the retaining wall sheets, it'll do here and I'll be doing along here. That means we're going to have to film yet another intro. So all we've got to do here now is the retaining wall. I forgot to put a roof covering on that earlier, so that's some spare roofing felt that I had from when I built the rugby union ground and the Rio Rentals shop in the first part of the shopping centre. So I've got the retaining wall to get in here to finish it off. I've got some chips down there to make that simulate like it's a pathway, because it's easy to forget that sometimes fire exit routes would often be a different type of surface from a normal route. They wouldn't be used that much, so they would often have a different colour. So we've got Tandy, WH Smith, signs there for up and down stairs, Knightsbridge shopping arcade, and we've got obviously the sign to signify the bus station would be here as well. This whole area has just been literally transformed from what it was before I started the January update, so you can actually see the transformation here now. It probably needs a few more shoppers in there, and it needs a bit of fencing in next to the co-op there. That will get done as well. I'll get that put in at some point. But that's what I'm now waiting on, is just the retaining wall to get that done and get the bit of fencing in there. A few more shoppers and then we are actually all complete for this. The retail park and the shopping centre will be complete. Well, that's this all done, and as you can see, if we go around here, it's not fully finished yet. I'm still waiting on the retaining wall sheets for there, because my plan is also to extend the retaining wall like that along here to meet up with this point here. So this here is actually going to end up getting covered over eventually, and it'll match that instead. It'll however be at a slightly lower level than what you see there. David Watson of Dean Park Station did suggest that I could actually put retaining wall in here instead, and I've had some difficulties this morning running a couple of trains down the ramp, and that is actually a possibility. I'd need to check for clearances here, but it'd be ones that I could possibly slot up and down in case something went wrong on the ramp. What you see here is a radical transformation from what previously existed. Back when I started this project in February, it was a complete mishmash of old bits of non-realistic looking retaining wall, blue emulsion paint, and it wasn't really looking good at all. What's replaced it is something that's very professional looking, certainly seems to be right in the right era, and it gives the whole location a realistic and urban town feel, particularly with the houses there and on the back scene here. There's no hidden sections, no awkward bits of wood, etc. It runs smoothly all the way around. Now, just before I do wrap up the March update, I would like just to give a shout out to somebody on Twitter, Lee Jester Watson. That's at Lee Jester Watson. He's a DJ and producer with Perfect Havoc. He's also an actor, and he loves music, sports and having a laugh. And he's a very familiar face because he was actually in Series 1 of Club Reps as a Club 1830 rep. Series 2 of Club Reps was called Club Reps the Workers, which looked at the non-1830 staff in the Greek islands. And Lee had left Club 1830 by then to go and work at clubs like Aquarius. He nowadays lives in Blackpool, and if you give him a follow please on Twitter, I'm sure he'll appreciate it. And also give a mention to you there about Perfect Havoc, which is a record label. Give that a check out too on Twitter. And he's also a member of the DJ group Fully Charged, and they're there on Twitter, and it's all in block capitals, this at Fully Charged DJ. So if you give them a quick shout, check out too. A couple of previews for you for the next two videos. The first one will be concerning Network Southeast. I know I've done them for the 35th anniversary last year, but this is for the sectors in detail series that I'm doing for the 40th anniversary of sectorisation. I'll be telling you how to model Network Southeast. And you'll need some red lamp posts, of course, if you're going to do that. And this is part of the preview that you've got for the April update, as is this, which is going to sit there. If you're wondering what all of this is about, well, I'm afraid you'll have to wait until April to find that all out, or follow me on Instagram or the Royal Modelers Club. The links to everything that I've used in this build are in the description below, with the exception of the Yoo-Hoo glue from Poundland, the spray paint which came from Halfords, which I've used on the fencing there. The bollards already existed as part of the Scotmid co-op, and the streetlights are from Bachman. But the links to the items that I've used are in the description below. So I hope this has given you inspiration to go and do what you want to really do on your layout. All that remains for me to do now is to say thank you very much indeed for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this, and please take care of yourself, stay safe, enjoy your layouts, and we'll see you soon. Goodbye for now.